Section 6. The Three.js animation system. The basics of the animation system. Static assets are impressive and the ability to rotate them in 3D is great, but to really impress you will need to understand the Three.js animation system. Based on the Unreal Engine, it allows layering of animations and blending. Before we get into a real example, let's review the system. At the heart of the system is the class Animation Mixer. An animation mixer applies to a single object. As we'll see later, this can be an object that has a skeleton, in which case you'll be able to move a part of the object separately from another. But the thing to remember is one object, one mixer. Using an animation mixer, you can play one or more animation actions. An animation action controls the way you play an animation clip. So to see an animation, we have a series of linked classes. 1. A class that extends Object 3D. This will usually be a mesh. 2. You create an animation mixer, passing this object as a parameter. 3. Using the animation mixer method clip action, you create an animation action from an animation clip. 4. You set the action to play. 5. In the request animation frame function, call the update method of your mixer, using the time that has elapsed since the last frame update as a parameter. This probably seems very confusing at the moment. The thing to remember is mixer, clip, action, update. But there's nothing better than an example to see what all this really means. In the resources you've downloaded from GitHub, go to the Section 6 Animation Basics folder and open gate.blend. In this we have a really simple scene that includes a gateway with 2 gates. I've added an animation to the gates. To add an animation in Blender, go to the Object tab. Move the playhead to a particular frame. Right-click on the parameter you're animating and choose Insert Single Keyframe. Blender is a great companion to Three.js and I strongly recommend doing a Blender course. In this course I can only give the briefest overview of the process. Once you have an animation in Blender, go ahead and export it as a GLB file. That is File, Export, GLTF 2.0.glb. If you prefer, there's a file already in the resources called gate.glb. The default settings for the GLB file will include the animation of gate_left and gate_right. Notice the scene panel. Using the GLTF loader class, we're going to have an object.scene instance, and this will have 2 children. Child 0 will be the sun object, and child 1 the gate object. This in turn has 2 children, gate_left and gate_right. Let's load this file. Go to this address for the starting template for this project. I've already created a GLTF loader and set the path for it. Can you load the file gate.glb and add it to the scene? Pause the video and give it a try. How did you do? The simplest method is loader.load, gate.glb, object arrow, scene.add, object.scene. Great work if you got the gate to load and you saw it in the main window. But there's not an animation to view. Using the GLTF loader class, you should have an animations property that is an array of animations. Let's see if there are any in this file. There are 2 ways to do this. 1. Output the details of the array to the console. 2. Open the debugger and search through the object that way. Let's try the latter approach. Press Command+Alt+J on a Mac or Ctrl+Shift+J on Windows to open the console. Switch to the Sources window and add a breakpoint in your load callback. Now refresh the page. Program execution pauses at the breakpoint. Scroll down to the local window. Let's take a look at the object. There are 2 animations, gate_left action and gate_right action. If you expand the scene property, you can see it has 2 children, sun and gate. And if you expand gate, this has two children, gate underscore left and gate underscore right. Using a breakpoint is a great way of examining complex objects. Now we have all we need to get the animations up and running. Close the console and let's add some more code. Firstly, let's create a mixers array. Notice that mixers is a global variable in this template, and that in the update function we're calling update for each mixer in the mixers array. So if we add a mixer to the array mixers, it will automatically be updated. Notice also that we're using a Three.js clock instance to get the time that has elapsed since we last called the update method by using the clock method getDelta. Let's create a constant that points to the gate. Const gate equals object.scene.children1. Remember that gate was the second child in the scene. Now we'll create a mixer for the left gate using let mixer equals new 3.animationMixer gate.children0. Remember that gate underscore left was the first child of the gate object. Now we can create an action. We use the mixer and an animation. If you recall, the first animation was called gate underscore left action. So this applies to our current mixer. Enter let action equal mixer.clipAction object.animation0. Now we have an action, let's set it playing. Enter action.play. Mixers.push mixer. Now you have the left gate swing open and then jump back to shut and play again. By default, actions loop, but we can stop them repeating. Enter action.loop equal 3.loop once. That stops it looping, but it jumps back to the start. We can fix that. Enter action.clamp when finished equals true. Great stuff. Can you repeat all that for the right gate? Pause the video now and do that. I just created a loop and replaced the zeros with the for loop index. How about closing the doors? I'm sure you've noticed the button. At the moment it does nothing. Let's add a click event. But before we do, remove the action.play line. And we will need an array of actions. So create the array and push each action into it. Now we can let the button control the action. Enter mode equals open. This is going to hold a mode of whether we are opening or closing the doors. Then get a reference to the button by entering const button equals document.getElementById button. Now add a click event by entering button.addEventListener click function. First we need to make sure we have an actions array, so enter if actions equal undefined, and we need to do different things if mode equals open or mode equal close, so enter if mode equal open else. Great. To play an animation from the start, simply enter action.reset action.play. Now pressing the button opens the gate, but we now should switch the modes, so enter mode equals close and update the button text by entering button.innerHTML equal close gates. Closing the gates is a little more difficult. First we still need to call reset, but we now need to set the playback speed to -1 so it plays backward, and we need to set the time to the end of the clip. Enter action.time equals action.getClip.duration. This will set the current time for the action to the last frame in the clip. Action.timescale equals -1. This ensures the action plays the clip backwards. Remember to set the button text and the mode. Because you're setting the timescale to -1, you will need to set the timescale to 1 for the opening section. Now we have gates that swing open and closed. Great work!